in the basement with all the refrigerators and freezers. What we are doing is I have, you might have seen in my recent grocery haul, I got a fantastic deal on whole cases of organic mangoes for $1.99 a case. And yesterday afternoon, while I finished up a bunch of homeschool read-alouds, I had some older kids at my house cut up all those mangoes. We got 2 big mixing bowls full. And by the way, I'm talking so loud, you may not hear any noise at all, but my freeze dryer's going. Things are happening. It's getting ready for me to load my trays in. So, by the way, we're fixing a huge garden mess, a huge garden error today. But this freeze drying mango will take a day or 2 to go through the freeze dryer. And since the family helped me get this prepped yesterday, I wanted to go ahead. My hands are clean. I just washed them. I've got nothing else down here, so we are using the Clean Mama hands to get all these mangoes out on these trays. Many times I pre-freeze items. That can help cut down on some of the freeze dryer time. And these are not pre-frozen, but they are going in, and that's better than them not going in. So I've got a bunch of Harvest Right trays. Now actually what I might do, my first run of 5 trays, we will do not pre-frozen, but we will prep the next 5 trays, get those in the freezer, so the second one will be pre-frozen. And as we like to say, that's how the mafia works around here. My kids absolutely love, and I love, we all love freeze-dried mangoes. Even the 2-year-old, I mean, he just loves mangoes so much. They eat them fresh, of course, but when I can get a deal like a whole box of organic mango for $1.99, yes please, I will buy. What did we get in that last order? 6 or so cases of mangoes, and then with the whole plan of, oh, this is going to be more freeze-dried mango for us. We got just a few minutes left on that. So what's going on in the garden today is, ta-da, and I'll take you out there and show it to you. We've been working on getting our cattle panels up for the indeterminate tomatoes. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job on being aware of the movement of the sun over the garden. And where that garden is, it's in the perfect spot for this wooded property. So I haven't had too many issues with things shading one another out in the garden. Now I definitely see several more trees that I want out of here in order to have a good garden area. And our tree person, who usually takes dead trees down for us and such, hasn't been available these last few months. But hopefully by the end of the summer at least they are. But the big problem is that the way that we did our first 2 cattle panels with those indeterminate tomatoes growing up, and like I said, I'll take you out and show you this next, I really think it's going to be a shade issue. So Travis and I drew it out yesterday on how we think it'll work best with the garden, doing the flat cattle panels and a mix of more cattle panel arches, all for the indeterminate tomatoes. So we have to take down our first 2 panels that you haven't seen yet, but I'll show them to you. We have to redo it. We have to move tomatoes, a lot coming up, but let's get these in the freeze dryer first. And let me tell you, friends, these freeze-dried mangoes, did I already tell you 10 times these are amazing? They are amazing. Everybody at my house absolutely loves freeze-dried mango, and so this was a fantastic deal to get a whole case for $1.99 a case. And so, you know, we bought several cases. Now here, what am I doing? I'm bending over to close my drain valve there, and I just have to stretch my arm back to get it. Now we're gonna continue the freeze dryer with these mangoes. We are outside now. I actually was working on the back porch, ran through the house to get my camera because I left it outside here. The younger boys and I had a nice long story time in our little family circle there in the hammocks and such. But this is what I have set up also using those Dollar Tree pots. I have another one that's filled and looking lovely, but I walked through the house to get my loot here because I am working out back and I was like, I need my drink, I need my phone. Here is how my other Dollar Tree pot there has worked out. Everything's looking nice in there, although the top ones look like they need some water, but we will get them watered in the morning. I also wanted to get one of these to bring to my back porch also. Okay, so I've been working on this area. I've been working so hard in all the areas, but back here over the last few days, I've worked on getting different pots full. This one I'm going to put in here in this little sad looking area, but we're going to put a marigold in there. And these are 2 hanging baskets that actually hang on a holder over by my pig yard, and I was going to put some marigolds and red petunias in there. And the other day Amelia and I got geraniums in these pots around here, and so today I'm going through. This has nothing to do with fixing the mistake in the garden. We'll get there. I work in layers. Today I'm going through and layering marigolds. We'll put one there. Then we have pots on the other side of the porch there. We'll add marigolds to those too. So I'm going through now, I'm adding some flowers to one of my little pig flower pots. I have a flower pot holder that hangs by the gate in the yard where the pigs are currently. And so I just took that same pot with the same soil from last year, and I'm putting some marigolds in it and some petunias, and I'm also doing it for a little pot that's going to be down here by my step. I had some kiddos there moving some rocks. I think that's what was happening. I like to watch back my videos and I'm like, what was I saying? What was happening at that moment? In here I just pulled some old dry plants out of that flower pot, and we are just making some pretty flower pots for the pigs. Even the pigs deserve pretty flowers. And so I don't really want to take this whole porch apart and redo it, but it kind of feels like it's going in that direction. That is a new outdoor rug that I had got at Walmart for the porch, and I had a family member put that out a few weeks ago, and so now I'm just kind of moving these chairs around. I just realized I don't want to really spend a lot of time working on this porch, but it really needs swept. Our new that thing, umbrella, table umbrella, broke because we had a pretty strong windstorm. A lot needs done. We're just going to focus on the other layer of the flowers for this time, okay? Of course I am here moving some chairs around, but really just I'm really just here for the flowers today. And what my kiddos do is they all bring a bunch of chairs around and move them around, and you know, there's a lot of them. So they rearrange the seating often, which is just fine. It is their porch too. I'm just doing my little bit of a mama pickup and flower potting. Is that even a thing? Reflower potting. Adding flowers to these different pots and sprucing up this area a little bit before summer gets too far away from us, and I look at the porch and in the fall and think, oh my, I should have done something for that porch. But you know, most years we touch this back porch and we freshen it up and get it all ready to go. So here I'm adding in some petunias and some marigolds into each of these pots. And I had some geraniums already that I had added into those faux barrel pots a few days before, but I knew they needed a few more flowers around them. So that's what we are doing today. We are working in another layer. I remember in 2020, this was my big first attempt, just trying to get settled in a new place and make my mark on a new property. I got those 2 faux wine barrel looking pots at Lowe's, and I got 3 of them. That tan one there is actually from my first house from like 25 years ago, and those I've picked up over the years. But again, we'll have a happy helper sweep the porch later. but at least I've got another layer of flowers done.
And would you be surprised that we're now adding flowers to yet another pot? This porch could really be painted again. I believe we painted it in 2021. Somewhere around there. I'm going to let it go for this year, and we'll see how it's doing next year. Right now it's just kind of dry and dusty, and that's okay. We have other projects to put our energy to instead of painting the porch. Okay, two of my younger boys just helped me, and we took a bunch of the marigolds and petunias. And here is our new Dollar Tree stacker. I showed you the other one that's by the door, but I decided to put that one there. We'll see how it fares, but they helped me plant that. Okay, so good evening now. I know I'm blocking the sun, but I'm about to show you there's a lot of shade, but it's almost 6 now. The day marches on, and so I'm going to show you what we did and what we're planning to do. So right here, you can see these panels, and again, you can't make judgments based on the shade because it's evening now. We had the panels going this way. So our sun comes up this way, and if I show you all the way, but over here, it's setting. And so this garden on this wooden property gets full sun most of the day. But I'm worried if we leave these panels here, that as the tomatoes grow up, and I need more than just these 2 panels. At first I was thinking we were going to do rows, and then I got thinking about the sun, and I was like, okay, no. So this isn't too much to undo, and what we're going to do these panels along the perimeter now. And I know plants are looking bad. They desperately need to get in the ground. And I watered yesterday. We need to water for today. So I'm going to move some plants here. We're going to do panels all the way along the outside. That way it'll shade this dusty ground here behind it. And there you go, we're making the best of it. I'm still getting lots of questions about these beds because these 3 beds that are crunched are shown often and they catch everyone's eye. A question I got today was, when I sit down and like lean and push on these beds, if they dent? No, these do not. I mean, they're not, you know, a thick wall of steel, but it's not denting at all. This is from a huge tree limb that fell. So, and it got these 3 and the sides of that. Nothing else is dented, and all of this has been here for a whole year now. So everything else is fine. That's just the sun reflecting from this metal, because that's actually a dull gray. But all of these, like I lean on, I push on them, you know, they're just fine. Me working in them doesn't dent them, but whole tree limbs falling on them, that does dent them. And so now I am going through and I am, it's so sad, we are digging up some of the plants that I had planted the night before. This is where I'm thinking, and I'm joking, huge gardening mistake. I do think it's all going to work out okay though. I'm just thinking, okay, these poor plants have been through a lot, but if I just get them in this basket and if I can get them replanted as quickly as possible, we're getting to be experts on cattle panels around here. So hopefully I can get them back in the ground and get them to recover pretty well. I will show you happy little seedling coming up situations. We got bush beans coming up in the strawberry beds. I believe in here by my little tag I did the yellow wax. There's another one. So they're doing it. We planted them from seed and they are doing their thing. And then over here in this bed we have more. Look at us, we really are doing things. And then we have all kinds of sunflowers and wildflowers planted out in these different containers here. And you see this flower tower is having a good time, living its best life here. This one's having a pretty good time. And then all along our trellis arches here, we have our different pole beans coming up. We just did these. I feel like it was a few days ago. Maybe it was a week ago now. I believe these are Kentucky Wonder that are coming up there. And then, yeah, that's what they are. More coming along here. Way down there. And now we're at another arch and we've got more coming up. And up here, this one is our sugar snap peas. They are here. All the way down, you can see them. And these are very small, but Look at us. We're growing plants from seed. Beans are pretty easy. I did beans last year as well. And then there's bush beans, again, that are planted out within the strawberries too. And I finished, I believe it was 2 days ago, planting out many more interplantings within these different beds. So in this bed that obviously has a lot of onions, we did the royal burgundy beans. And then over here, we did more of the golden wax. I don't know if we'll love those or not, but I can't wait to have them in canning jars. I'm sure we'll love them. I love all kinds of veggies. Then over on this side, we have some royal burgundy. And in this bed, it's more of the top-notch yellow wax. These I just did, and I don't see any signs of them yet. So that was like, again, 2 days ago. Over here, this is the table acorn squash bush plant. And then you did them with me. We did lots of radishes. Over here, I'm looking for my tag. I believe, there it is. Yes, we did gray zucchini, which is a bush plant. That'll be in this bed. And then in here, we did the yellow summer squash bush plant. We also have radishes coming up all around. And then here is more zucchini. I believe this is the Italian striped zucchini. And then down here, we have more of the yellow summer squash. Yeah, something. I know who. We had a little goat get out today, and she came and liked that dinosaur kale. So, that's all Mama can say about that. Over here, we need to put more compost on this bed. I see lots of topsoil. I'm going to have 2 more loads delivered. Lots of radishes coming up. We have the summer squash planted in here. And let's see, up here, I feel like I did something. Did I get to? I don't think I got to this one. How I know I've done it is I add one of my little tags of the additional thing I planted. But I don't have a little tag in here other than what's growing along the arch. So I need to still do that one. But we still got a lot done. So I think I probably might have 2 more beds to do. This one, yeah, so I've got a little label there for carrots as well. And then we have the Kentucky Wonder Beans along the arch. So here's how things are coming with moving these cattle panels along the perimeter, because the sun's not coming from behind these, so these will not shade forward. They'll shade in that direction. So it'll be 2 panels and 2 arches on this side. I'm just going to throw an arch at the end because we have room, and I need room to get these indeterminate tomatoes on there. And then it'll be 2 more panels, and maybe I'll get 3 arches on this other one since it looks like we have the room. We might do an arch at the end, panel, arch in the middle, arch at the very end. And then what's also very exciting, so the whole perimeter of this garden, starting, well, all the way down yonder, this is a mix. If you see all those little seedlings there, and then they go up along here. This is a mix of sunflowers and hollyhocks, I believe, that are coming along all the way down. And then there's some that even come to this side here. Here's our evening activities on the log. If you watch, they've been headbutting over there. We'll see if they get back at it. Got another one resting out yonder. He's having some evening snacks. There they go, headbutting again. Maybe. They know we're watching. And this is cute. One of the kiddos here, one of the farm kids, has the chickens and the ducks trained to where they just whistle and point their finger, and they all start going in their fenced-in yard and their coop, and then he shuts the doors on them for the night. Pretty good trick, farm kids. Okay, so this panel is up. Other panels are in development. I have been planting and digging and watering and doing things, but I'm gonna work on replanting my tomatoes that I had dug up to get them back in the ground because they are oh so sad. All right, so behind me here, I'm doing a 4th row of determinate tomatoes. I've got the 6 or 7 that I had to dig up here, and I've continued on with my 4th row. Put some marigolds in there. Now, I've got this other basket of marigolds and tomatoes. Most of the tomatoes were from a flat I had, and they are called Lemon Boy. Okay, so boy oh boy, they should be good. As long as they live, but I think it's gonna all be okay. If my tomatoes survive, we're doing something amazing. Okay, I know they're looking sad, but they really are looking better. At least the ones that are planted are looking better than they were. The ones in the flats look so very, very bad. But that's why we're working late this evening, apparently, trying to get these panels done so I can go ahead and get these in the ground and get them out of their packs. And so I'm just doing a little pattern here. I'm doing a marigold and a poor little tomato and another little marigold and another poor little tomato, and we are going to water everything so well once we're done here. I am not even worrying about putting an egg under these tomatoes here. I am just trying to get them in the ground so that they can live. These panels really do help the garden come together, and things just continue to develop. Good morning. We are going outside. If I can get my door open, and I'm going to water my flowers here in the morning. I'll also go over and check in on my tomatoes in my tomato hospital. Things are looking nice, but I like to water these pots in the mornings. These lilies are going to do beautiful things. Here's a little morning view of the baby piggies with their mama. I was going to check on some birds and I just noticed my sprinkler was on. We have a multi-hose situation, but I needed to come check on these tomatoes anyway. So we got Homestead Mama gardening nightgown going on this morning, but yeah, that's pretty much watering the dirt, so I need to move that sprinkler. Oh, these look so much better. Okay. Oh, good. Happiness. Well, while we're out here, we will water these in the garden. I wouldn't mind getting on a morning schedule to water the garden. It's just evenings seem to work better for me. I've heard it can be better for vegetable gardens to be watered in the morning because it gives their leaves time to dry and such. I always did, because I may not be an expert at organic gardening, that's for sure, but I have done a lot of flower gardening over the last couple decades. And I've always, it's been easier on me to water in the evenings, but I have been watering my flowers around my house in the mornings, and then I've been saving my water for my garden in the evenings. Now look, those tomato plants, I think we're gonna make it. They look so much better today. I soaked them a lot last night. We'll just double soak them today, won't we? Very good. I thought last night I might lose them all. I've got a few like this one down in the dirt there. Yeah, 3 there. Those were 3 that I replanted yesterday, I think. No, those are the ones down there. I'm not sure what they're doing. I know it's not good for their leaves to be on the ground. I also know it is not good to water tomato plants like how I'm doing from the top. They're supposed to be watered at the bases. But I am choosing to water them and keep them alive right now and take a chance, just like with the rain. And go from there. But boy, these look so much better. Yay! Okay, now we are going back to my little brooding house there with my meat bird babies, little meatball baby birds. Ha, and I'm gonna feed them. Of course, when I open the door, they run, but, well, they won't be running here in a minute when I pour their food. But there they are. They're getting bigger than the last time I showed them to you. And this is actually a great space for them because, again, there's 75 of them over there. And I'm only showing you about a fourth of the size of this building. But here in another week or two, they'll be going out during the day and getting on fresh grass every day. And coming in at night. And then before you know it, they'll be big enough to stay out all the time on fresh grass. Don't know if you can see water on my glasses. Okay, I am actually I'm finishing up. I've watered everything. Everything is doing good. I enjoy my quiet watering time. But it is time to tackle the day. Woo, let's see here. I guess somehow I'll turn my hose off. There we go. Tackling the daytime. Got to get out of the farm Crocs and farm pajamas. I understand that there is a knob on this hose reel. It's just I also have to protect my hostas as the hose comes back in through the garden. So protecting hostas at all cost is one of my life priorities. They grow so nice for me, and I appreciate them making something out of my front shade garden. And this is how the hanging baskets are going. Everything's staying nice and perked up for us. I am really happy with how the layers to our little family circle garden here are turning out. But again, it is our 4th season here this year. I watered everything well, and I love these vining petunias. Those are really making my heart happy this year. So, okay, now friends, we must go in and tackle the day with lots more gardening. So we got some breakfast going on here. Okay, we got cattle panel trellising going up. We're gonna go collect chicken eggs. I've had a situation with my chicken eggs. Yes, so chicken egg situation is one of our dogs, our dog that's really good with the chickens, has decided that they like to eat chicken eggs. So that's fun. And what I mean by that is the dog will go in the coop and just get itself an egg and then walk around with it. So I like this particular dog though to be with our barnyard animals. It is a livestock guardian dog. This dog is like 7 or 8 years old. There's no necessarily breaking this habit. It's one they just decided to develop, and I noticed maybe 2 months ago, and I'm like, this is fun. But the way I've decided to combat it, just to be gentle on everybody, because if the dog doesn't have access to the eggs, it doesn't eat them. And this dog is just fine with the chickens, even though it was not raised with chickens, which is a huge deal for an older Great Pyrenees. Because for the first 2 years that we had the dogs, it was the only 2-year period of time, because of the heavy predatory wildlife at the last property, where the coyotes got my flock of chickens there. I took like a 2-year break from having chickens while we recouped. So this particular precious dog decided a few months ago it was going to start going in and just robbing the nest, just taking the egg, and it'll walk around the barnyard holding an egg in its mouth. I can only assume it's eating them. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving my chickens in for half the day, where usually, you know, I would let them out in the morning. They could free range in this big half-acre, full-acre barnyard area every day, and they will take themselves in and lay their eggs in their nesting boxes and walk in and out and have freedom like that. So my workaround for that is I've been leaving my chickens in for the first half of the day, and I let them out about 2 or so in the afternoon. That way their legs and their eggs should have been laid. I can collect the eggs and then they still get out for a whole long time and many hours, and everyone lives in harmony. Yay. And then this is our fencing situation. So this is what I have learned. As goats get older, they have more time to figure things out. So we have these carabiners. I got one here and just one over there clipped on the fence. But when I come out, when I'm done in here, I will clip them both on these latches, because what the goats like to do, the smaller goats will lift the smaller latch and let themselves out, and then look, they're right up there in the garden. So we have to remember when we come in and out to put these carabiners on, because so far they have not been able to unhook a carabiner, but you better believe if we forget to put them on, they're out of here. And then same thing, the bigger goats will unlatch that with their head. They just put their head under it and push it up and then let everybody out. Okay, lots of excitement. You're gonna see a very happy flock getting out for the afternoon. Run, 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 run. Go, go, go. And some ducks and a partridge in a pear tree. Happy playtime now for them. And so collect eggs with me. We are getting the eggs out of the nest, and when all things are going well, when dogs are not eating eggs, I'm able to leave their exterior coop door open and they just come right in here to lay their eggs. Garden progress, and we are walking to put eggs in the kitchen. Only 5. Okay, added those. So it's the hottest part of the day out here. That's okay. I'm gonna work on getting more marigolds in between these determinate tomato plants while they are working on those panels and the arches. I do think that's going to go really well, and I can even tell because it's, again, hottest part of the day, sun is at the highest for us, and these panels, there's no shadow with where they are. So we learned some things, we worked some things out. Okay, so I just had to sit in the shade for a little bit, but I had worked on getting a marigold in between each of these determinate tomato plants. And so I'll show you the update on the fence. I'm going to work on getting more of these indeterminate tomatoes planted. So we have this panel, and then look at this. We have an arch. Travis had to go to the hardware store to get more of the UV protected tie wraps. He's real big. That's like his tie wrap tip, especially if you have things that are going to be out in the sun a lot. And these ends still need snipped off with that little tool, but just a way you can get more use out of your tie wraps is to make sure they're the UV protected ones. There's more of those we planted last night. So right now we have the framework for another arch, and then this panel is done. And this panel is done. There'll be another arch here and another arch down there. Just arching all the things, but it is coming together. I guess I should have a shirt that says arches make me happy. It is such an inexpensive piece to add to the garden that's helpful, that you can grow things up. And I'm just so inspired and happy with them. As you can tell, I have a crop of little boys here beside me having a lot of fun this afternoon. Okay, so I got tomatoes planted along this arch here. Look at us. And then over here. And then Travis just put up this second arch here. And before he did that, I worked on getting tomatoes all along both of these panels. So there's gonna be another arch here in the middle, another arch at the end. And there's shade here, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening now, so it's allowed. There's kind of lots of shade everywhere, but that's okay this time of day. So now I'm going through with my flats of indeterminate tomatoes, and I'm getting these planted around the arches and along the other panels. And I am just so happy to be getting to this point, because I have been waiting to get these planted, and they have been waiting for me to get them planted. So it's all a happy thing to get done. Okay, the next arch is in. So we are arching around. I I didn't count before we started, but I counted now that we're almost done with them. We will have 10 arches. You know, originally I was thinking, I don't know, we'll just do an arch down the middle. But it has developed into this. So we have 6 over there in the raised bed garden, and then 7, 8, 9. And then we will have one more just because there's room here for it down here in this area. And again, you can see all the other little flowers that we planted coming up. I've got my sprinkler in the garden now this evening going around. I move it every 5 to 10 minutes to a new location. So you got to help me with some morning watering and some evening watering. All right, so lots of planting has been going on. I did tomatoes, the old German variety of tomatoes are on that arch, and then the far arch we have Amish paste tomatoes. So these are my interdermit tomatoes that are left. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Some look sad. They all look sad, but they don't look as sad as they looked yesterday, so they do have something going for them. So what I'm going to do, and I did this earlier with the Cherokee purple and the Cherokee green, I went ahead, because I had a couple extra packs of those, and I put them along some of the arches in one side of the raised bed garden. And so I'm going to mix these in, the arches that are going down the other side. So there will be beans growing up those arches, there will be tomatoes growing up those arches, and actually along these panels and such, I do plan to intercrop and do more pole beans, do lettuce, do basil, do the things, but we're working through in our layers.